Hello, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. My name is Mr. Maxwell, and welcome back to another side quest about video games with myself and Exile Magpie.
Hello.
We got some things.
Yes.
Got some things. I think
It's actually been a fairly busy-ish news day, week for gaming. Although not a lot of it is good.
Yeah, no. I don't think any of it's good, to be fair.
Not really. Although a CEO of a certain company gets his
comeuppance,
getting roasted by the developers.
Yeah,
we'll get to that though.
We'll get to that. First, we'll start off with. Did you know that Microsoft have laid off? What was it? 220,000. No, 220,000. Their 220,000 workforce that they have, they've laid off
10,000, around about
10,000 people.
Yeah.
Even though they made profit.
5% of the workforce.
Yeah.
Roughly ish.
And approximately 4.5 of that.
You see, the problem is.
Yeah. Around about 4.5% of the workforce has been laid off. A number of those are, it doesn't actually say how many, but a number of those are the 343 employment.
Apparently they've been especially hard.
Yeah, they've also been, because they've also lost a lot of lead developers.
Yeah.
Have left as well.
Also, so first things first, the company made a profit, yet clearly, they didn't make enough money. Despite making a profit, so they've actually. This is not like net money. They made a profit, which means they made more than they spent, and that's still not good enough.
Nope.
So they have to let go 10,000 people.
Yep.
And this is the company you want to now buy Activision Blizzard.
Yeah. Do
you honestly? Do you honestly think? Like I say, like Sony's just as bad.
Oh,
I'll be honest.
Sony
is just as bad. They will make a profit and go, no, we need to lose some people because
we didn't make enough.
We didn't make enough. We didn't make enough profit. You made a profit, but we didn't make enough of a profit.
Yeah.
And this is, you know what? This is the reason why when the like economies and the working class and the inflation and all that is in such a fucking bullshit state, because the people running the things have no fucking concept.
Well, it's either they have no concept or they're just pricks that don't care.
To be pricks, you have to be some sort of intelligent, though. And I honestly
understand that.
Some of the decisions by some of the game companies, for example, Square Enix, are so stupid.
Yeah, I know that, but like, unfortunately, it's not the sense of like what I mean by they're pricks. Isn't like they're. Yeah, it's the fact that they like we said in our last video. Like, these people, they don't give a shit.
No,
that's what I mean.
Yeah,
like they just don't care, because at the end of the day, it's not going to affect them.
No. In fact, the people are responsible for letting go of 10,000 fucking people.
This isn't going to affect them.
No, they'll get a fucking bonus for this.
Yeah.
Like, how fucked up is the system when firing people is seen as a good thing?
It's because they've not spent as much.
Yeah, I know, but I know the reason. The reason. It's still bullshit.
Oh yeah, it's massively bullshit.
It's still fucking like just for once, can a company look more than 6 months down the line? I know it's too much for them to think of anything other than themselves. I know that's too much, so I'm not even going to bother. But for the love of fucking God, and here's the thing: like, the fallout has been pretty vocal on social media from like people that who have been let go, and people who are still with 363, basically saying like Halo was in such a bad state, not because of them, but because of Microsoft. Well, yeah, Microsoft coming from above,
the thing is,
we want this in and we want that in.
Look, for these games, right? Because like Halo's one that like 343 is not innocent in this.
No.
They released a poor game, but at the end of the day, at the end of everything, when we say things, Microsoft gives the green light.
Yeah.
Microsoft's the company It's like if anything under Sony comes out in a bad state, Sony are the ones that press the green light to release it.
And while we did give credit for Microsoft delaying the game from when they did, when stuff comes out like, well, this is in this state because Microsoft's decisions over here, like the amount of people, like, they decided, like, oh yeah, we're gonna go just contractors. Any work it's like you're firing people and you have to hire contractors to fill up the spaces that you like. You do know usually contractors cost more. It's this false fucking economy bullshit that everyone in like higher positions do. They goes, oh well, yeah, but our employment overheads are lower now. Yeah, but you're spending more on the money you're saving on staff is being spent plus more on these other contractors companies that you get, because you have to pay the contractor and the money that will go to paying the people who actually you contracted. But it doesn't. They don't think like that. They just go, oh, we're not spending much money on people, so therefore it's good. No, you stupid, self-centered idiots. So yeah, I know obviously like a lot of people have come out and said like I've just said, like a lot of decisions were made at Microsoft level, not 343. I said 363.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not annoyed. I'm not annoyed. I get very annoyed when a company goes, "Oh, we've made profits. We're gonna fire a bunch of people." Like it's so annoying and makes no actual sense morally to me that and it's just like.
Yeah, the Bonnie Ross, who was a senior developer in the multiplayer creative director has left. Director of engineering has left 343. Bonnie Ross was the head for 15 years of 343. Yeah, this one's just a sad. This was another one where it's just like, why?
And what do you think's going to happen when they get the next game? Where's that experience going to come?
Oh no, 343's gone. You don't fire this many people
in these key positions,
or you lose this many people and keep that studio going. This is a studio gone.
And expect the same quality to come.
Yeah, this studio, they're gone.
Like this is the problem when you have companies run by people who do not know the product that they are in charge of.
That, and this is also what happens when Microsoft want to just buy everybody.
Yeah,
that's their solution at the moment. Microsoft's solution to the Xbox losing to the PlayStation, which is what it's doing.
Yeah,
is we're not going to focus making on good games.
We're not going to invest in our studios.
Yeah, we're just going to buy
make them better
studio.
And make better games. We're just going to buy studios that already make better, and then go, oh well, we've spent $64 billion on this acquisition. How are we going to make our money back?
Yeah.
Within the financial year. Considering the fact that the vast majority of the companies that you bought the year previously had yet to actually release anything.
Right. They bought Bethesda after they bought all those companies, didn't they?
Yeah.
So all those companies, like Arcane's part of Bethesda, but was it Ninja Theory?
Ninja Theory. Obsidian,
the Creative Minds, I think they're called, the ones that made We Happy Few.
Yeah.
And a couple of others. They bought all them before Bethesda. Yeah. So they've not released anything.
Some of them have yet to release their first game after the acquisition.
Yeah.
And they then go and buy Bethesda, and then Bethesda hasn't released anything.
Starfield is coming up.
Yeah, that's the first one, but they haven't released anything.
Well,
Deathloop was the first one that was leaked, but that was already in massive development. That was in its end stage when the
that was in its end stage, and it had already gone gold.
Yeah,
to come out on the PlayStation when the acquisition had come out.
when they had that second load of acquisitions, and we said Microsoft need to stop and
when they bought Bethesda, that was when I was starting to get worried.
No, then they bought Bethesda, and we went like, they need to stop just buying company after company after company. They need to actually have stuff released and start like making money on their investments.
Because they don't know, like in my eyes, you don't know if any of these games, these new IPs are going to hit. And you've bought a lot of companies.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
What happens if Senua's Sacrifice flops?
I mean, I don't think it will.
No, it shouldn't.
It looks good. But, yeah.
We have not heard anything about that game.
The last time we heard anything about it was the Game Awards 2 years ago.
Yeah. We haven't heard anything about that. We haven't heard... it's gone silent regarding Obsidian's Elder Scrolls-like game. But the Elder Scrolls, we've still only had that that mountain range. Starfield...
they've got...
Starfield, yes, it's coming out this year, but...
I wouldn't
the
be
last
putting my eggs in
release
that basket.
from an actual Bethesda game, and this is going to be in the same engine, is Fallout 76. Like, there are so many caveats of like concerns that really should be addressed before you start acquiring more companies. And Activision Blizzard aren't exactly in a great state either.
Yeah, because that company's you're going to need to spend money on that company to fix it.
Yeah. Like we said, that company, Activision Blizzard, needs gutting from the inside out and burning all the negative stuff.
Let's if they don't buy Activision, the games that they've got coming, I think that we know of, is Starfield, and I think Redfall. You know, the arcane one.
Yeah.
I can't think of any others.
There's the Redfall, the
arcane, the vampire
multiplayer one.
The one that looks really cool.
Yeah,
it does look really good. But again, that's another game that I wouldn't be putting in my basket.
Well, no, because it has a lot of the trappings of a live service, which we'll get to with another thing.
Yeah.
And
so, like, if I was an Xbox fanboy, I'd be worried.
And then they go, oh yeah, we're just gonna fire 10,000 people. Like,
why?
How are you financially run?
To be honest,
is there a bunch of monkeys
reading
in the boardroom deciding everything? Because that's the only thing that might make sense.
Yes.
And if it is, at least then I can turn around. Well, it's a bunch of monkeys. What do you expect?
Reading through the article, and you see the tweets and that, and like you read the tweets, and you read what's happened with the development of Halo. You understand why Halo Infinite is the way it is.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, Jesus Christ. It's like Microsoft couldn't decide what they wanted. 1 second they wanted this, and then they wanted another.
But then they didn't want one in campaign, one in live service.
Then they didn't want to pay for full-time staff, so they got more contractors, and it's just...
Which, again, I'll put this point out again, contractors are actually more expensive. The only reason why companies like it is because, you know, it makes their books look smaller. It makes their overhead, the money going out on wages seem smaller. It's not. It's a fallacy. It's false economics.
Well, yeah, because you pay contractors and like it's like a separate thing. It's not a wage.
Yeah, exactly. Because you pay the company that contracts the people.
Yeah, it's more of an expenditure. Not
and it's why they do it, because they'll be able to get it back on taxes and all that, which is fucking bullshit. And it's just. I mean, we constantly said when Halo was in development and that when it came out, we wanted Halo to be good. We wanted people who like Halo to enjoy.
Well, we want Xbox to have good games.
Yeah,
that's what we want.
We want it I want Xbox to be right behind Sony,
because
so I want Sony looking over its shoulder constantly, because then they don't do bullshit.
Yeah.
Sony doesn't do any bullshit like, we don't want that.
Yeah, when Xbox does well, we get the PS4. That's what happens.
Yeah.
We get a console like the PS4, because let's all be honest, the PS4 is a fantastic console.
When Xbox doesn't do well, we get Sony doing this stuff like, we don't want our community playing with other consoles because we want to protect them. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
And it's the other way around as well. Like, if Sony does well, we get Xbox doing, like, the Game Pass and stuff like that. Because let's be honest, if Xbox wasn't in the situation it was, there's no way the Game Pass would have become a thing.
If the Xbox One had become the dominant console, we wouldn't have a Game Pass.
No.
There would not be a Game Pass at all.
No.
That just would not happen. But yeah, like 10,000 people.
I know.
Just
for what reason? If you think about it,
just because you didn't make as much money as you wanted. Like if every company in the world ran off that fucking mentality, and I know a lot of them do, but if every single company in the world ran off that mentality, no one would have a job.
Oh yeah. And
then what would happen?
Oh, you'll be fucked.
Yeah, the entire economy would collapse. Like, I'm sorry, but the economy can't. There needs to be a fucking shift change in the higher ups in these corporations to realise that money is not an infinite resource. It is. You may have a lot of it, but it is a finite resource. It will eventually run. People will eventually run out of money.
Yeah.
Which is what's happening now in the US and the UK and other countries where, because all prices have gone fucking through the roof, and all the employers are going, well, we can't pay you more. We can up our prices, but we can't pay you more.
Yeah, we can't pay you.
Can't afford to pay you. And then 2 months down the line, they go, why aren't you buying our products? Well, maybe if you pay people more, they'd be able to buy the product.
Yeah.
Oh, but inflation! Inflation's fucking through the roof anyway. Wages are going to do jack fucking shit. Anyway, off to... but yeah, it sucks for those 10,000... roughly around 10,000 people that have lost their jobs. Probably 99.9% of them, or even 100%
probably didn't
of them.
deserve it.
Yeah, I'd probably say none of them probably deserved it. Probably a lot of them were really, really good at their job, especially considering some of the people coming out on social media saying like, this person left, it sucks because they were absolutely amazing at this, and it's going to be nigh on impossible to replace them, etc., etc., etc.
Here's the funny thing is like with 343, a lot of them have gone to join Respawn. Oh well. What can you do? Look, Microsoft, like I've said, Microsoft are not this pioneer and white knight of gaming that a lot of people seem to be doing lately. They are not. They are a horrible company.
They are far from it. They are just
like
the
others. There is no difference. The only difference is that they make a console and a lot of the other ones don't. But yeah, do we need to stop singing the praises of Microsoft with their...
Here's the thing, if Microsoft weren't so committed and having to spend a lot of money on lawyers to try to force through this Activision Blizzard deal, they might have made that actual money.
I would just, at this point, I just fucking... Is it worth it? Like, is COD worth that much? I know it makes a lot of money.
I know,
it does.
I think Activision Blizzard, it's one of those where they're blinkered. They're so focused on acquiring it.
Yeah.
They don't have a plan B.
I suppose.
I'm worried it's that. Because, like we say, why don't we think it's like, well, why don't you take the money you're spending on this, which may not actually go through, and put it into the studios you actually already have?
You've got Bethesda, man. Like, you've got Bethesda. In let's be honest, in the western side of the world, Bethesda are the RPG makers.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not very good, but but yeah, they
are the pioneers of...
You could put money into Bethesda and have them build an actual engine that works.
Yeah.
Could you imagine could you imagine a world where a Bethesda game comes out
and it's not a
and
buggy
it works, and it just works? Not the Todd Howard, it just works.
No,
it actually works.
Yeah, that would be amazing. If I will wait till Starfield comes out and people start playing it because I'm really concerned.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be okay.
It's going to be better than Fallout 76 because it's going to be the primary studio working on it.
I think it's going to be good. I think it's mainly because I think Microsoft are watching it. I think Microsoft want this to be their like Xbox, like the reason why people buy an Xbox.
But then again, Halo,
yes,
Infinite.
But the difference is one, Starfield is a new IP, and two, they put all their eggs into Halo, and like we said, they just went, oh, it's Halo, they'll buy it. It's what they do.
Yeah.
It's what a lot of companies do, where they'll go, oh, it's just slap this name onto it and people will buy it, and that's not how it actually works.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But again, it's another a live service.
Is Starfield a live service?
No. Halo Infinite.
Oh, Halo Infinite, yeah.
A live service that has failed.
A live service is another thing that's just for fuck's sake.
I mean, every time we hear another fucking live service, usually from Ubisoft, but you know, the fucking thing of like, I honestly think the people behind the drive for these games to become live services don't understand the market they're in. I think we're in a situation where the likes of Hasbro and EA and Ubisoft and Activision Blizzard, Microsoft, Sony, Square Enix don't actually understand the market that they are messing with. For example, friggin' every live service that comes out from Square Enix and bloody, it's like we keep saying when they say, oh, it's a live service, it's over fucking saturated.
I don't actually, you know what? I don't actually think it's oversaturated. I just think no one's actually doing a live service.
Well, the thing is, though, right? My point. The reason why I think it's oversaturated is because, unlike previous like oversaturated markets, like the first-person shooter after Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, called COD 4, the RPG influx. And when everyone wanted to do an MMO, well, actually, the live service and the MMO one is probably the same because, there's not as many as when it's usually oversaturated. But the problem is that these games demand so much time and effort, and it's like, it's a yes, you have the same amount of people, but like the amount of time they're able to invest in that game is less because they're already doing live service stuff, which takes up time and effort, and I do feel like they don't understand that, one, a person can only play one game at a time.
Yeah. Two,
people actually do enjoy story-driven third-person
games.
No, story-driven single-player games is what I was meant to say. And three, not everyone is a whale.
Yeah.
And then, so you get basically live services that come out with very little fanfare and they think, oh, we're going to make the money. We can release it now. We'll finish the game later. And as I've kept saying since Destiny 2, Destiny 2 was probably the last one that got released in a poor state and survived. And
even then, that was mainly due to the fan base of Destiny 1.
Yeah.
That wasn't... If Destiny 2 had just been released...
Yeah, if Destiny 2 was Destiny 1, we wouldn't have... Destiny would have not existed.
Yeah, we wouldn't have Destiny now. Speaking of live services, and Square Enix...
Yes.
Avengers is going dark.
Yeah, they're gonna close the servers in September, to which I'm like, so honestly, you're gonna like lose all money now.
Well, basically the servers are still gonna be up, but they're not gonna do anything with them. So the last update will be on March the 31st, which is probably just gonna be some cosmetics, not much.
That game could have been.
That game could have been
so much better.
Just the decisions in that game was and then
a battle pass for each character. That wasn't a dumb idea at all.
Nope.
We're gonna have Spider-Man as a PS3 exclusive. That wasn't a dumb idea whatsoever. I mean, I understand the reasoning because Sony have the licensing, but still, like, yeah, that's just gonna piss off like 2/3 of your fan base. Why would you do that? Why would you do that at all? And then like, oh, it's gonna be a live service in a market full of live services. Like, for fuck's sake, who?
Yeah, so update 2.7, which added the Winter Soldier hero and Cloning Labs Omega level threat, which is the only Omega level that is like the big
raids.
The big raids, I think.
It's still only 4 people though, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, is the last content.
At least Destiny went. Yeah, we'll double the strike team. We'll give you 6 people instead of 3.
So, I can't talk now. Update 2.7 is going to be the last thing that really adds anything. Because 2.8 is which is the next one in March, which is going to be the last update, is just a balance update.
God's sake.
They are doing something nice though. Basically, if you own the game and you're still playing it, everything's going to be free in the battle pass. So everybody's battle pass is going to be free. So it's automatically unlocked. You can get all the stuff.
Yeah, but am I going to actually grind that battle pass?
No. I think you can actually just get them. Like just have them.
Well, I hope so. Well, what's the point of having a battle pass then? Just give everyone everything.
No, that's what they're doing. That's what I mean.
Oh, well, that's nice, I suppose. But once they close the servers, who's going to play it?
Yeah, that's true. You will be able to play, because they go through a bunch of questions here. One of them is, will I be able to still play the game with my friends? And they've said yes. Multiplayer will still be accessible after support discontinues on September 30th, 2023.
Well, yeah.
So basically what I'm saying is the servers are still going to be open, but they're not adding it. There's no more new stuff.
I will put in the caveat, this is a game that they said they were going to have years of support. Now granted, technically
they have had years of support.
About 2.5.
2.5, but that's still years. That's plural. So they didn't lie.
I
mean, granted, I'm pretty sure they specified 5 years, but all live services do that now. They're gonna have 5. We've got a 5-year game plan, a 10-year plan, and they only last like a year and a half.
And this has been. If you are a Square Enix live service, this has not been a good period for you.
Oh yeah, no. How many's gone down?
So we've
Babylon's Fall.
Babylon's Fall, Final Fantasy VII: The First Soldier.
Which is that?
Chocobo Racing.
Yeah.
Oh, Chocobo GP.
Yeah. And Marvel's Avengers.
In very short succession, and here's the thing: like some of them are. So, like, apparently Chocobo GP is actually not a bad kart racer.
Yeah, it's just
monetized so bad. It is vomit-inducing how bad it is. It just literally... And this is the thing, like, I can guarantee you, a lot of the things that have discovered these games, right, are not the people who are making the game. It's not their decision. I can guarantee you Square Enix is the one that's actually, like, some higher up in Square Enix has decided, we're going to have a live server with battle passes for everyone.
Oh yeah, of course.
For every character. Not one battle pass, no, a battle pass for every character. We're going to release with fuck all end game content. We'll patch it in later. And we won't hit the roadmap. We'll put this ridiculously tight roadmap and ignore all our developers who say they won't be able to meet it. We're gonna do a battle royale, Final Fantasy VII based battle royale, and mobile only.
Yeah. Which, by the way, where is Ever Crisis? Where is that game?
Where has it gotten? What's happened to it?
Where is it? I know it's only coming to fucking mobile, but let's be honest, it's going to be on PC at some point.
You would have I would say that, but then, you know...
It is
Final
Square
Fantasy,
Enix.
It is Square Enix, and Final Fantasy VII, The First Soldier, should have actually come out on PC.
On PC. I'd argue
It should not have been a mobile-only game.
PC and consoles.
It should
not
have been
better.
Yeah, it should not have been a mobile game. Chocobo Racing. Yeah, we'll give you a Chocobo GP, but if you want to buy a character, you have to go all the way to level 100 of the Battle Pass, and you only get that if you literally play the game every fucking second of the day for the entirety of the Battle Pass.
Well, of course. Of course. Well, we can't have you playing something else now, can we?
Because then we'll monetize the shit out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Which, you know, Marvel Avengers was also monetized the shit out of.
Yeah.
Also, in regards to decisions, the throttling of XP that they get, and went because people are complaining that they're leveling up too fast. Fuck off.
No one has ever done that. No one's gone,
no one.
I'm getting to level 100 far too quickly. Good God.
I'm unlocking all these cool new abilities way too quickly. It's overwhelming. No one in their mind says that. And then just to prove it, that they were talking out of their ass, they introduced XP boosters.
Yep.
Something that they promised they wouldn't do.
Yep. Bless them.
It's a shame. Like, Avengers is one of those that's going to go into the fucking poster child of games undermined by senior executives.
Avengers should be the lesson of, like, if you're gonna if you're gonna make a live service
after the year.
No, I'm not on about Square Enix. I'm on about, like, people who, like, go, you know what, I'm gonna jump into the live service game.
Yeah.
Right. Marvel's Avengers should be like, this is what you do not do. Like, you don't do this, right? Look at this game and do everything opposite to this game.
Yes. This is the epitome of what not to do.
Because live services do work, but you, as we've said before, you have to, like, you can't leave that game alone. Like, and Destiny is the prime example. Bungie can never leave Destiny alone.
No.
Destiny has to be forever maintained and looked at and updated. Like, most updates for Destiny now, like, I'm fine with them. I know some people aren't, but, like, they do so every season, once the the big expansion, like Lightfall's coming out, and I'm getting very hyped for that.
The content release sort of schedule for Destiny feels more like an MMO, like Final Fantasy 14's, where you get the major release and then there's, like, subsequent story stuff that happens afterwards. Same with WoW.
Each season gives you a new bit of story, and then it's usually like a weekly thing for each story bit. Yeah. Which is fine. I'm fine with that. I know some people aren't. They would much prefer just to play through the story of the season in one full go, which it's to me it's just 6 and 2 freeze.
Yeah.
But it's that sort of thing. Like, you need to keep on top of, like, just constantly adding to a live service. You can't stop.
Yeah.
And
also,
like,
if you have a roadmap, you need to hit it.
Yeah, it's like MMO. MMOs are the same. Like, you cannot stop adding to it because you just have to. Because the minute you stop is the moment people stop playing. And that's what happened with Mars. Like, how long before then was it before Avengers got its first big update?
Wakanda. It was at least a year, maybe a year and a half.
Because it got
only got Wakanda.
It got that Hulk thing.
Oh, first. Future, yes, Future Imperfect.
Yeah, and
but again, that was
quite a while.
Yeah, but also, like, it was very lackluster. Like, apart from introducing
the two Hawkeyes and Maestro Hulk.
And the two Hawkeyes, which were literally clones of each other.
Pretty much.
There wasn't really anything added. There was, like, no new monsters. All the mobs in that were still fucking
exactly the same. They just had different paint skin.
It was just reskins of them all. So, like, the actual, like, combat was exactly the same. There was no difference. And so you go from that, and then it's absolutely forever before Wakanda comes out.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think that was enough.
There wasn't a line there.
Yeah, and it wasn't enough to
I
keep
think
it
they
going.
put a lot of things on, like, oh, look, you can be Black Panther now.
Yeah.
And, I mean...
Which is good.
Yeah.
But there's not enough content to support all these characters. I honestly think they thought people were going to play every character and do every single battle pass.
Yeah.
And that was not going to be the case.
It would have been the case if the actual, like, the multiplayer stuff was fun, but it was just the same thing over and over again. You were literally just doing the same thing.
Yeah.
There was no... And you couldn't do story stuff together.
Yeah,
like, all the story was
single player, yeah.
And it was just like, well, what's the fucking point? All the fun stuff's in your story thing, and I've got to do it on my own. And I've bought this to play with my friends. But Square Enix at the moment, they're like obsessed with getting on bandwagons that are like the wheels have clearly fallen off. Like, look at the NFT thing. NFT, sorry. They're just...
Well, this is the thing, they've doubled down.
They've doubled down on the NFT while the fucking economy of the NFTs is crumbling down.
Like, cryptocurrency is literally exploding.
Yeah.
And I don't mean in a good way. I mean, like, literally someone's lined it with TNT and pulled the plunger.
Yeah.
Like...
And they've doubled down on going into the NFT market. Like, what are you doing? What is wrong with you? You've got your own developers. Even the great Yoshi P has said, please don't do this. Like, nobody wants this.
And also, like, apparently they admitted that, and now also, little caveat, Crystal Dynamics, who made Avengers,
yeah,
are no longer part of
Avengers. Square Enix. They got bought by, it's that European company.
Yeah. I can't remember who, but they, before that happened, they did actually admit that if it wasn't for Avengers, the games division would have made a profit.
Yeah. So
it's just hilarious that, like, the games that are supposedly no longer popular, like single player RPGs, Final Fantasy, so like Final Fantasy remake and that, and all those games that Square Enix released that weren't live services, which was supposedly the cash cow of cash cows, constant, never-ending money. I'm sorry, if someone told me, yeah, if you do this, you'll make never-ending money, I instantly go, you're a con man, aren't you?
You are lying.
You are right now lying to me. The fact that the thing that was supposed to be like the infinite moneymaker, the cash cow of the company, has actually cost them.
You know what they should have done with Marvel Avengers? They should have turned it. They should have given. What they should have focused on was making all the heroes possible.
Yeah.
Right in the game.
Anyone who
turned that game into a gacha. It would have worked.
Yes, it would have done.
It would have worked. I mean, it would have been scummy, but it would have worked. It would have made him a lot of money.
It would have worked better.
Yeah.
The problem is also the gameplay isn't that
good.
Fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not Genshin. Yeah, look at Genshin. Right, that's a live service.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, the amount of money that is spent on that game, I will never see in my lifetime. That is just to keep the servers running. The amount of money they spend just on the servers.
Yeah.
Like,
because it's so popular. Because the combat, like we've said, the combat's fun. They are constantly on a monthly basis now, or bi-monthly basis, coming out with an event of some kind, which gives you free stuff to help pull for the gacha stuff.
Aye.
The amount that you're getting is
in
comparison to other live service and gacha games is actually quite good.
In comparison when it first released, because you got to remember,
when it
get anything when you first released.
Yeah.
But now you do get a fair bit. I'd say it's a lot more. It's a lot easier to play free.
I think it's because they're making so much money they can just afford to give it a fucking free.
Yeah.
Which means that there's an awful lot of whales playing that game still.
Yeah, but I am a whale on Genshin. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know if I would be classed as one, because I still buy the battle pass and I still buy like the bi-monthly.
The monthly. No, you're not a whale.
No,
a whale is basically somebody who you're a dolphin. A whale, which is me, is somebody when the new character comes up, they will spend the money
until they get that character.
Which luckily I have done, but basically what I do is, with my wage, I save a little bit of money, and then I'll buy a 50 quid thing.
The thing is, though, the point I'm going to make is that I'm enjoying the game.
Yeah.
The game is good. And I'm willing to support the game's development further and continue.
That's my thing as well, yeah.
That's the reason why I'm spending the money. Let's go to another live service, Overwatch 2. I'm not having fun with that game. I don't like the way that the game has been developed, and I don't want it to continue that way. So I'm not spending money on Overwatch because it's fucking it's pain and suffering, and I refuse to have that. Yeah.
If I wanted to pay for that, I'd go to the dentist.
Yeah.
You know.
So back on to Square Enix, like I do. They have I think
the guy in charge of Square Enix right now. You just please leave.
Yeah, you need to go.
Just leave.
We
need is the fight like from Yakuza, and we need another guy who's like an up and comer to rip his shirt off.
Who's actually a genuinely nice person and knows
who's a good person and knows what he's talking about. Just rip his shirt off. He's like got a tattoo on his back, and he's like challenges the head of Square Enix. Whoever wins takes over.
Yeah,
there we go. That's what we need. That's what Square Enix needs right now, because the person in charge of Square Enix right now, just stop doubling down on these things that are just not working.
Yeah. Also, Outlanders, I'm kind of concerned about you.
Yeah, I'm worried about it. I like
Outlanders. That's a Square Enix.
Yeah, I like Outlanders. The thing is, there hasn't been an update for that in a long time.
Oh, that's not good.
It's just been the last update was World Slayer.
Yeah.
And the only other updates after that have just been balancing things. We've had
that's
no word.
That's sounding problematic.
Yeah, the main problem for Outriders was that World Slayer was much more for people who is still playing. Outriders I would say it wasn't really there for people to try and get people to
World
play
Slayer was probably put in development before the game was released, though, considering the life cycle. But anyway, Square Enix, could you just stop?
Stop doing what you're doing and just focus on, Final Fantasy 14 is making you a lot of money. Just if there's any live service that you want to focus on, just focus on that.
Yeah, it's an MMO. It's making you buck. It is literally the most popular MMO of just, look at what Yoshi P's doing. And follow that. He's in your company. It shouldn't be that hard to get advice from him.
Yeah, please just.
He's openly, publicly giving you advice. Granted, it is literally no, stop doing the NFTs, please. No, they'll never show up in Final Fantasy 14. Go F yourself. Granted, it's starting to look a bit like the Hunger Games for houses, but don't worry about it. I've been reading some people for the housing lots for reason. Oh my god! It's
so hard to get a house.
It's like Jesus, holy moly!
But that's a problem that needs to be fixed. That is very true. But it is what it is, and eventually,
houses were expensive as hell in Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah. When
I last played it, I saw the price and I was like, oh god,
I've got enough to buy a house.
You just can't
get buy a house. I just can't get one.
You just can't get one. Yeah. Anyway. I think it's time to move on to the next bit. And once again, Square Enix, could you just please stop?
So last week we mentioned about Yiska Guillemon and his comments about the staff.
Oh, good, yeah.
And all that stuff. So, funny enough, that didn't exactly go down well with the devs and the staff.
Shockingly enough.
I know. Who would have thought that
We've
would
not
have
done that well. Can you work harder?
It's your fault. The ball is in your court.
Says the man that's responsible for all the decisions that have made Ubisoft not actually perform as well.
Yeah. Yiska Guillemon in an email to staff telling them the ball is in your court.
So they decide. So you know what the staff and the developers did what any rightful person with the ball in their court fired back a fucking forehand with some fucking heat on it.
Yep. It was an article on Kotaku. This email was in fact about as bad as one of these emails can get, doing everything from blaming workers for poor results and advocating for extra work. As a result, the Union Solidarity Informatique, which has members at Ubisoft Paris offices, has called for a strike.
Yep.
Wow.
There's a shock. Now, here, again, like I think we've said it before. Like France, they're they're weird. They're French, but they are proud of the fact that their population basically overthrew a monarchy not once but twice, and constantly reminds the government that yes,
they can do that.
If we are pissed off enough, we will fucking storm you.
So we do have the statement because it was shown up on Twitter, but obviously it was in French.
Yeah.
But it's been translated. So here we go. From January 27th, Friday, January 27th to afternoon, the ball is in our court, but the money stays in his pocket.
This is going to be one of the most snarkiest fucking responses ever. I'm going to love it.
In his latest statement, Mr. Guillemot announces a worrying future for Ubisoft. If the request to employees to be especially careful and strategic with your spending is ironic considering the company's editorial strategy for the last few years, it is not funny. When Mr. Guillemot speaks of attrition and organisational adjustments, it means staff reductions, discrete studio closures, salary cuts, disguised layoffs, etc. On several occasions, Mr. Guillemot is trying to shift the blame, once again, onto the employees. He expects us to be mobilised, to give it our all, to be as efficient and lean as possible. These words mean something overtime, managerial pressure, burnout, etc. Mr. Guillemot asks a lot from his employees, but without any compensation. Have salaries kept up with the high inflation of recent years? No. What about the implementation of the 4-day week? No. Even though they said that's what they were going to do, still hasn't been done. What has been put in place for the teams that come out of the production's exhaustion, just like those of Just Dance or Mario? Yeah. For anybody who doesn't know, the teams behind the latest Just Dance and Mario Rabbids, they went through crunch.
Yeah.
And a lot of it. And
then once they finished the game, they were literally told, "Oh, here's the next project. Get on with it."
Yeah, pretty much. It's not great. It was not a good one. So the demands from this, we demand an immediate 10% increase for all salaries, regardless of annual increases to compensate for inflation. With the hundreds of millions of euros obtained from Tencent, there is money in the coffers of the employers.
Yeah. Here's the thing, like the AAA game industry, when they go on about if they come, they do the money they make and the money they get invested in, they have no comeback to.
They can't afford it.
That they can't afford to pay staff in line with inflation. They have no comeback. They are multi-billion-dollar profit companies. They can fucking afford it.
The improvement of working conditions, with in particular the implementation of the 4-day week, which again, Ubisoft said they were going to do
after all the
during the whole the abuse of staff thing that happened,
sexual harassment, blah 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 blah. Etc. etc. They came out and went, "Oh yeah, we're going to give you this. Well, yeah, we'll introduce 4 days a week. Well, yeah. Please don't sue us to fucking hell." Ain't implemented yet.
No. Transparency on the evolution of the workforce, both locally and globally, which again, that's something that Ubisoft said they were going to do, but it still hasn't. Actually, I don't even think they've done one of the things that they said they were going to do.
They have not implemented a single thing of what they said they were going to do.
A strong commitment against disguised dismissals and a condemnation of abusive managerial policies that push employees to resign.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that they said they were going to do.
And haven't done. Haven't them implemented.
I love this bit. And because Mr. Guillemot and his clique only understand the relationship of power, Solidarity's Informaki is calling for the employees of Ubisoft Paris to go on strike on Friday the 27th of January in the afternoon from 2 to 6 p.m.
That's this Friday.
Yeah, this
Friday.
I hope they go on strike. I hope they do go on strike because it's
mass walkout. Literally, I want the entirety of the Paris
Ubisoft
office. The workplace of Ubisoft in Paris. I want everyone just to walk out.
Yeah.
Just leave down tools, walk out, and go home if need be. Yes, you won't be paid for those 4 hours, But is those 4 hours really worth the shit you put up with? Is that money you make in those 4 hours really worth the money? Really worth the amount, the abuse, the crunch, the stress?
For a lot of people, unfortunately, it is, because unfortunately
Yes,
for a lot of them, it's the.
I think the point is that I think we're coming to
the point where like the breaking point now.
The breaking point, because a lot of people are saying, yeah, I'm going to go on strike because I'm in the same boat anyway. If I go on strike, losing a day or 4 hours, half a day's work.
Inflation has now made it like for a lot of people in workforces to just be like, well, I'm in the same boat no matter what I do.
If I go on strike, I have at least a day off. Yes, it's not paid, but even if I got that money,
it wouldn't do it.
It would make absolutely no difference. And the stick the stick will eventually stop working.
Yeah.
And if you don't remove the stick before it stops working, you're in some deep shit.
You're in trouble. So that was the end of the statement from the union.
Yeah.
So this goes the next fiscal year, which runs through March 2024. Ubisoft said it plans to release at least one additional unannounced big game besides Skull and Bones, Avatar, which Avatar is not coming out this year, and Assassin's Creed Mirage. Guillemot calls it the biggest pipeline in Ubisoft history in his email to staff, and said he's excited to share more at this year's E3 conference in June.
Which actually, if I remember,
this could be the Star Wars game.
Yeah, it could be the Star Wars game, but also I'm pretty sure they've cancelled E3. But then again,
it'll be what do you mean is the
Summer Game
Fest.
If not, if E3 is actually being cancelled, but
yeah.
But you know, East Guillemot is not attached to reality, so.
So it's been there has been an update to this article. Guillemot was set to meet staff at Ubisoft Paris Studios in a face-to-face Q&A meeting on Thursday.
That's not happening.
But cancelled. Two sources familiar with the event told Kotaku it would have come a day after the CEO apologised for his earlier "ball is in your court" comment in a company-wide town hall. The planned Paris studio visit was also the same day. More than 1 million people flooded the city streets in a strikers' march protesting President Emmanuel Macron's plan to raise France's retirement age by 2 years to 64. A source said the march was the reason why the Q&A was cancelled. It is not.
I mean, that's a convenient excuse, because let's all be honest. Like I say, the French population love showing the government that, yeah, we overthrew people when we were really pissed off. We're not scared to do it again.
If you don't know striking unless you're French.
Yeah.
Like, the French just know how to strike. It's like the thing that they know. They know, like, the strike that they just did about there was people with barbecues in the middle of the streets.
Yeah.
They were partying.
And also, they don't do things by half. Like they said, 1 million people.
Yeah.
When the unions say we're going on strike, like people, like certain fucking right-wing journalists in the UK going about like, oh, the union brothers, blah 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 blah. I mean, go look at France.
Yeah.
If you want a militaristic union, look at them. 1 million people out on strike.
Yeah, they just because the union said, right, we're going on strike now, guys, come on.
Over the fact that they're going to raise the pension by 3 years. The pension age by 3 years. Like, and you think the UK is too easy on strike action all of a sudden because people are just finally had enough? Like, no. Stop talking out of your ass. Just stop. No one's believing you, apart from the people too senile to actually understand what's going on in their lives.
So yeah, Ubisoft it's just getting worse for Ubisoft, isn't it? It's just gotten worse and worse.
We said when the original like abuse stories broke that Yves Guillemot was either complicit or incompetent. His action since then makes me believe he's incompetent.
I think he's that idiot. Yeah. He's that stupid. Of course this stuff happened.
Your staff morale is literally in the gutter because of what has been happening in your company. You have failed to implement a single thing that you said you were going to implement to appease them after the breaking
the mass strike that you had then.
Yeah, and the news articles that you know, and also this at this current time, Ubisoft's shares are tanking.
Oh yeah,
they're doing very badly and which is really worrying in a market which basically is like any
company that's like looking like they're gonna die gets et.
Yeah, and then you go, well, it's clearly the workers' fault.
It's clearly not my decisions.
I understand that Yves Guillemot probably doesn't have the ability to blame himself for anything. Like every single single CEO.
His decisions are so good. He's amazing. What are you on about?
Yeah,
it's clearly the workers' fault. Whose fault? Who else could it be? It can't be it can't be the head's fault. No. They know what they're doing. It's got to be. It's what the problem is.
I mean, you know, it's the workers that
it's
made
the workers. They're not smart enough to understand Yves Guillemot and his friends and his cronies, like what they're saying to them, because they're on such a higher level.
Yeah, and it's
of
such
intelligence.
They are so they're so like business acumen is so amazing that, you know, clearly the right decision of making the same game just with a different colour paint is what should be done.
Yeah,
like, you know, clearly like lethargy in doing the same thing over and over again isn't a thing in the game.
See what it is right. Their intelligence is on such a higher level than any of us, right? That we just can't comprehend their decisions because we're just not clever enough. We don't have the intelligence. They are like the next evolution of the human being. That's how smart they are.
Honest to God, I this just proves the point I made earlier with, like, yes, the boards and leadership running these companies have no fucking idea of the actual market they're in.
Oh yeah,
because they don't even know
well, a
the
lot of
conditions their workforce is at.
Exactly.
They don't
a
even
lot
know.
of them don't even know what's actually happening in their own company. So why in God's name would any of them actually know what the market is?
Yeah.
They sit there and just be like, like Bobby Kotick could come to me and be like, well, this is the trending market right now. And you just look at that man and just go, you don't know
a damn
shit. You don't know anything. You're just talking out of your ass. That's all that's happening.
That's the only reason why you've made money is because you're a swindler and a fucking... You just are able to...
You got lucky with Call of Duty 4 and you've ridden that train all the way to the moon. Now look, I don't blame you for doing that. I think anybody in their right mind would do that. But you're still a jackass.
But anyone with a self-decency would not basically go, I'm the great blah 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 and I can do whatever the fuck I want because of this.
Yeah. Like, good God, like these people, like all of them, like Activision, staff is Activision. Go on strike, just leave. Just
down tools.
I know it sucks in America because it's harder in America to go on strike
because you can literally get fired for fuck all.
Yeah. If anybody works in the UK, if anybody works in the studios that Activision owns that are in the UK,
unionised.
Go on fucking strike. They are unionised. Just go on fucking strike.
If Activision Blizzard have made the mistake of having a French studio,
everybody who works for Ubisoft
in France,
in Canada, wherever you work, go on strike, right? Because none of their people in the heads of any of those fucking studios give a shit.
They will only care when their bottom line starts being hurt.
Yeah.
That's the only time they'll care.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, as we move on to the next bit...
Yeah, we're going to move on now, and you actually brought this one.
To Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah.
So...
They apologised, in a sense.
In a sense. I think they've thrown someone under the bus.
Oh, yeah. This is how the companies work now.
So... Obviously, like, we've been talking about this for the past couple of weeks, and the whole removal of the OGL. And they came out, and they basically said, and of the last week we went about the most petty response I've ever heard from a public outcry. Like, the whole mentality of us versus them, and when I don't mean like supporters of D&D against the people who don't support D&D, I'm on about Wizards of the Coast, us versus them, the player base, the community. Like it was clearly written by someone who has nothing to do with the actual implementation and working of the product.
Yeah, that and like that wanted to do like an FU.
Yeah.
To everybody that was like saying this was bad.
So a few days ago, there was another response, shockingly enough, because people were basically unsubscribing from D&D Beyond. Over 40,000 people. Ooh. It's a monthly subscription as well.
Yeah,
so
that's
a lot of money.
How much is that a month?
It's like $5 a month.
That's still a lot. That's
40,000 people.
Yeah, that's still a lot of money.
Times $5. That's how much money they
and
were
that's
losing.
That's
how much money they were losing a month.
I'm assuming that's the base price as well. So there'd probably be an advanced tier.
No. I was going off the top one. Like average, the average between the current ones is, I think it's $2.99 and $4. It's like $3.50.
Yeah.
And working off that average, it's roughly around about $200,000 a month.
Oh,
that they're losing. No company in the world can survive losing that much money.
That's harsh. That's harsh.
That is unsustainable levels of loss. And of course, more people have just unsubscribed.
Yeah, that's a gut punch.
There was a few days ago a second response. This time a little more courteous and actually seemed to be coming from an actual person. Kyle Brink on D&D Beyond, Wizards of the Coast Twitter, posted this. Now, granted, Kyle Brink's D&D Beyond account is only as old as this thing, but that doesn't mean that he wasn't part of the Wizards of the Coast. It just means that he's made an account. He may not have had any reason to have a D&D Beyond.
He made an account to release this.
Right. So he came out with this response. For over 20 years, thousands of creators have helped grow the TTRPG community using a shared set of game mechanics that are the founding for their unique worlds and other creations. So, first point here that I need to make. Game mechanics in the United States cannot be copyrighted. I don't know about in the UK.
No, I don't. I think it's the same.
But I think it is very similar in the UK and Europe.
It's like
and
rules.
In the EU, the European courts would literally just turn around and shove any sort of copyright for a game mechanic into the dumpster fire, and probably charge the people bringing it up to them for wasting their time. But anyway, we don't want that to change, and we heard loud and clear that neither do you. So if you heard us loud and clear, why did it take you over a week to respond and then have that first response? But anyway. So we're doing two things. We're giving the core D&D mechanics to the community through a Creative Commons license, which means they are fully in your hands. If you want to use quintessentially D&D content from the SRD, such as Owlbears and Magic Missile, OGL 1.2 will provide you a perpetual, irrevocable license to do so. See, they're still talking about this 1.2 and new OGL, which is like the whole thing of why the community's up and in. But anyway, also, I'm pretty sure Owlbears, you can't potentially copyright that, but I'm not.
They might be able to. It depends on if they were made somewhere else. The only place I've ever heard of Owlbear is D&D. So.
The thing is right. I'm pretty sure there's a bit in copyright law that if something is deemed as in like not community, culturally advanced, so in other words, like it's seeped through the entire culture of like this is now like I don't have an example, but there are like certain things that you can't copyright because
like 4.
Yeah. In a sense, Creative Commons is a non-profit dedicated to sharing knowledge that it developed a set of licenses to let creators do that. The Creative Commons license we picked lets us give everyone those core mechanics forever. Because we don't control the license, releasing the D&D core rules under the Creative Commons will be a decision we can never change. So, I think that's in response to Paizo and a whole bunch of other third-party developers who have literally turned around and gone, okay, fine, we'll just release the Orc, which is an open role-playing license.
Contract.
Open role-playing contract. Which is basically, they're going to make it as close, from what I've heard, obviously it hasn't been officially done and it has to go through lawyers first, but they want it to be as close to the 1.10a as possible. At least that's what they're saying. So let's talk OGL 1.2 and the first important ways it's different from 1.0a. First, allows us to address hateful content. Caveat, 1.0a actually had that, but okay. Second, it only applies to published TTRPG content, including on virtual tabletops. Third, this license specifically includes the word irrevocable. About that. What's not in there? There are no royalty payments, no financial reporting, no license back, no registration, no distinction between commercial and non-commercial, which means that you can add it whenever the fuck you want. Nothing will impact any content you have already published on OGL 1.0a. That will always be licensed on OGL 1.0a. Your stuff is your stuff. So what happens if you... What happens
if you create something now?
Yeah.
After this one?
After the 1.2 is released. Like, there's a link at the end of this note where you can download a PDF of the proposed OGL 1.2 along with supporting documents for your review and feedback. Before you scroll down and grab it, let me give you more details on what's in there. Protecting D&D's inclusive play experience. This is the most virtual signaling thing I've ever heard, because D&D is already inclusive.
Oh yeah.
As I stated above, content more clearly associated with D&D, like the classes, spells and monsters, is what falls under OGL.
Okay.
Not sure how you can copyright warrior, barbarian,
you can't.
Wizard, sorcerer.
You can't do any of those.
Warlock.
Necromancer.
Well,
Thief.
Warlock is under Wizard. Thief, which is under Rogue. Yeah, I don't think you can actually copyright those. You can...
If they designed a specific barbarian, they could copyright that barbarian.
Yeah, but again, though, the problem is that what makes a D&D barbarian is the mechanics, and you can't. We've already stated you can't copyright.
No, what I mean is like the way if they were to copyright it, the only way they could do it is if they designed a barbarian.
Anyway, you'll see that OGL 1.2 lets us act when offensive or hurtful content is published using the covered D&D stuff. We want so I'll go. This is one of the big issues because in the 1.2 draft, and it is draft. It says draft on all of them, all the pages, and it's only 6 pages, 8 pages long.
Wow!
Yeah, they have sole ability to judge what is harmful.
Okay.
This is the company that tried to force through a closed license, claim it's an open license, without telling anyone, and only had to confirm it when people broke an NDA. Do you honestly think that's a company that's not going to abuse the fuck out of whatever they class as harmful?
Oh yeah.
We want an inclusive, safe play experience for everyone. This is deeply important to us, and OGL 1.0a didn't give us any ability to ensure it. It actually did. There was a bit where it literally said if you publish content that is abusive or blah blah blah, your license can be revoked. But anyway, TTRPGs and VTTs. OGL 1.2 will only apply to TTRPG content, whether published as books, as electronic publications, or on virtual tabletops. Nobody needs to wonder or worry if it applies to anything else. It doesn't. Deauthorizing OGL 1.8. We know this is a big concern. No, it's the whole thing. Creative Commons license and the open terms of 1.2 are intended to help with that. One key reason we have to deauthorize, we can't use the protective options in 1.2 if someone can just choose to publish harmful, discriminatory, or illegal content under 1.0a. again, this is virtue signaling. You're claiming that this is to protect people. This is from a company that in previous versions of their game had a let's be how do we be diplomatic about this? Not very good when it came to stereotypes.
Yeah.
And quite insulting. So the fact they had to pull Spelljammer and rework it and re-release it is an example. And again, any content you have already published on 1.0a will still be licensed under OGL 1.0a. Very limited license changes allowed. Only 2 sections can be changed 1.12, so that it's not irrevocable then, because you can change whatever the fucking is live. How you can cite wizards in your work and how we can contact each other. We don't know what the future holds and what technologies we'll use to communicate with each other, so we thought these 2 sections need to be future-proofed. So for completeness, let's sum up what else is in OGL 1.2 and supporting documents. Virtual tabletop policy, which I'll go into in a little bit of detail in a second. We will continue to support the VTT usage for both OGL creators and VTT operators. The virtual tabletop policy spells this out. Ownership disputes. You own your content. So you don't give Wizards any license back, and for any ownership disputes you can sue for breach of contract and money. The 1.2 but literally states that there is no cause to sue. I'm just going to say that. Business holding no progress of and you can sue for breach of contract and money damages. Your actual policy says the opposite, but no hateful content or conduct. If you may include harmful, discriminatory, or illegal content, or engage in that conduct publicly, we can terminate your OGL 1.2 license to do our contract. And create a product badge. You will have the option to include a badge on your OGL works. Once we get your feedback on the badge, we'll create a guide on how to use and display it.
Lovely.
I know. Overall, what are we going for here is giving good faith creators the same level of freedom or greater for the things in Creative Commons to create TTRPG content that's been so great for everyone, while giving us the tools to ensure the game continues to become ever more inclusive and welcoming. Okay, now to the actual document. And it goes on about they've given out a survey to fill in, which I have done. It's live for a couple of weeks. So about a week and a half left.
Lovely.
So, and there's a link on this to... no, I don't want to download the file again. Where is it? Have I got it?
Is this a link to the survey?
Yeah. Forget. I'll just download it again. I'll sort it out on my phone. I'll sort it on my phone later.
Yeah, this is why I have the tablet.
Yes, I know.
This is why I have the power.
The thing is, though, it doesn't open in another tab. It's literally a PDF.
Yes.
So, I'm not going to go through the whole draft. First things first is the notification of... I'll just go through different bits that need to be looked at and things I have issues with.
Okay.
So, notice of deauthorization of the OGL 1.0a. Open game license is no longer an authorized license. This means that you may not use that version of the OGL or any prior version to publish SOD content after effective date. So you would have to use the 1.2. Right. It does not mean that any content previously published under that version needs to update to this license. Any published... Right. So again, the entire community is literally saying, stop. OGL 1.0a has been in effect for 23 years. It is not broken. It does not need to be fixed. Leave it as it is. If you want to introduce a new license agreement, give us the choice. Because it does seem... I'm going to make another point here. It does seem like this one D&D is going to be... that they're pushing is going to be online only.
Yeah.
It's going to be a virtual tabletop and nothing else. And it's like, okay, fine. Make your 1.2 for your virtual tabletop. Let us do the pen and paper stuff with 1.0a.
Yeah. That seems like a good idea, to be fair.
Right. So, Let's see. There are people who have gone through this in this 1.2 in detail, broken it down, given their opinions. So you don't have it. Shouldn't take too long to find it. You just have to Google it or put a search in.
Just check out YouTube. There'll be videos of it. So,
the major ones that I'm really, really concerned about is 6.F. No hateful content or conduct. You will not include content in your licensed works that is harmful, discriminatory, illegal, obscene, or harassing, or engage in conduct that is harmful, discriminatory, illegal, obscene, or harassing. We have the sole right to decide what conduct or content is hateful, and you covenant that you will not contest any such determination via any suit or other legal action.
Yeah.
So, the whole point of Dungeons and of TTRP tabletop role playing games is the telling a collaborative telling of a story between the games or dungeon master and the players. Right, with the players being the main driving force of it. But like, the dungeon master has to make the big bad. The dungeon master has, and yes, you can make a whole bunch of big bad people without resorting to certain things that can be deemed harmful or discriminatory or that. But those people exist.
Yeah.
And those people, like, villains do villain things. Like, what is harmful? Is murder harmful? It is. Murder is harmful.
Well, what if you wanted to do a campaign where you were taking on a king who's a genocidal maniac?
Yeah, and it's a war.
I'm pretty sure genocide is a bad thing.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure genocide usually has racial undertones to it. 99.9%.
Yeah. What if like, I don't know, maybe you wanted to do like, well, maybe one of your players wanted to do like, I don't know, is their character was like on the bad end of a coup. And their family died, and the people who took over were racist. I understand the need to keep it as inclusive as possible, because the thing that is really good about Dungeons and Dragons, and it even says it in the book, is like your character can be literally anything. Like, there's a bit of in the player handbook that deals with sexuality, and it literally goes on about everything. Like, yeah, you could be a man trapped in a woman's body, blah 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 blah. Like, the elven god is literally homogenous. Like, it is both male and female depending on who's worshipping. Like, there is literally no limit to race, creed, religion, blah blah blah, etc. Right? It literally has that in there. And yet, this company, Wizards of the Coast, who have been disingenuous, underhanded, secretive, and untruthful to its player base, thinks that they will be trusted to have sole right to turn around and say to a person, "This is harmful. We're revoking your license." Yeah.
That's the issue. It's like, there is no trust in the company now. They blew that. They took all that trust that they have made for 9 years since the release of 5th edition. They have took all that trust and literally set it on fire.
Well, of course.
Simply because a CEO who has come in from Microsoft basically stated, "Oh, well, the player base is under-monetized."
Whatever that means.
It's basically because the third parties made so much money and they didn't get any of that.
Yeah.
Right? Here's the kicker. You don't understand. D&D is as profitable as it is because of the third party content, not despite it. Without that third party content, that money's not going to go straight into Wizards of the Coast. That's going to go elsewhere, because those third party creators will still create stuff. They will just create it for other platforms.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a misread of the actual dichotomy of the player base and the community on such an epic scale. Anyway, modification or termination. We may only modify the provisions of this license identifying an attribute credits under Section 5, which is the content, your content.
Yeah.
And there's a shock. And the notice provision, Section 9A. We may not modify any of them. So, in other words, the content, we control our content unless Wizards of the Coast decide to change it.
Yes. Lovely.
So there are other issues I have, but like I said, other people have broken this down and actually talked about it a lot better than I will be actually able to. But like the 6.F is like the massive one for me because it's like
that's the one where it's the harmful
content.
Whatever
we deem as harmful, we can just revoke your license instantly. And I'm like, I don't trust you.
Yeah.
I have no trust in you. Like, let's all be honest, right? You're based on Lord of the Rings. Are you telling me Sauron is not a very, very, very... Like, Sauron is a manipulative, mass-murdering...
Not Rings of Power. Just before
I'm going off the books.
Not Rings of
I'm
Power.
going off the books. Nothing made by Netflix.
Or
Amazon. Or any other freaking giant American corporation...
that wants to make it better.
Yeah. Sauron is a manipulative, mass-murdering, egotistical...
He's a megalomaniac.
Megalomaniac, like, who wants to literally rule over everything and kill anyone who stands in his way. Right? What's to stop... right, if under this, 1.2, I decided to make a campaign... with a similar tone to Lord of the Rings, where like everything's going to shit, war is happening, and despite what Wizards of the Coast may think, when war happens, very bad things happen.
Yeah.
Not nice and, quote use, harmful things happen. It's war. War is never a good thing. But anyway. Like, what's to stop one person in online or something being upset by something that happens in the setting I've made, and then Wizard of the Coast going, oh, right, revoke the license. One person shouted.
Yeah.
Also, you're making more money than us, so.
But yeah, that's
the big problem. We don't trust that Wizard of the Coast are genuine and rightful guardians of this now. Like, they've done the opposite to what good ownership of an IP, and also the clear lack of understanding of what makes Dungeons and Dragons popular. And it's not the D and the and the D.
Yeah.
It's not the logo. It's the stories that are made.
It's the beyond bit.
No, it's the stories. The hashtag at the moment that's going around is a D&D be gone.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's go to the virtual tabletop policy.
Here we go.
Which is the other big, massive thing that I have an issue with.
So wait, before you go on, right? The virtual tabletop, that's when you see it on Twitch, that's that thing, isn't it?
Yeah, stuff like Foundry, Roll20.
Right.
Basically, like the...
Okay, just so I can get it, because I'm not as into it as you.
Yeah.
So I don't really know terms.
So virtual tabletops is basically the online stuff that people can play together in a group but not actually be on the room.
Yeah.
So here we go. So gamers and big fans of virtual tabletops. Not according to this. We are announcing this new virtual tabletop policy as part of our rollout of OGL 1.2. Why does Wizards need a virtual tabletop policy? I mean, that's simple because it does need to be updated to the 21st century sort of thing. I understand updating to include digital technology. Like, if they wanted to add to 1.0a, NFTs are banned completely without, which is also in the 1.2. But again, Hasbro are selling NFT Power Rangers. Kind of hypocritical. So anyway, we support the role VTTs play in the tabletop space. The ability to game remotely means people can game, and it is wonderful that people thousands of miles apart can share a space through sitting around a table. But as VTTs advance, their functionality will raise tricky questions. Where is the line between VTT and a video game? Simple. It's called everyone that actually does anything are people. There is no AI. There is no computer generated enemies and computer actioned enemies. It's all player based. Because despite the fact that the dungeon master is like the person that is the storyteller, they're still a player in a sense. They just have it's like the players play their characters and the dungeon master plays everyone else.
Yeah. And the scenario.
While not railroading the players into doing something they don't want to do. It's a balancing act, but it's doable. When does a VTT become more than just a replacement for the traditional tabletop? These questions require some thoughtful answers. Answering them will take time. So in that case, why are you trying to throw out a OGL 1.2 if you haven't got the answers to this then? Answering them will take time, and we will want this policy to reflect your input.
Apparently you do not.
It took us to actually, it took you to start hemorrhaging money before you started to actually even think about our input. But anyway, we'll be asking for feedback and talking to you about our goals as that discussion advances and new technology emerges. What is permitted under this policy? Using VTT to replicate the experience of sitting around the table playing DnD with your friends. So displaying static SRD content is just fine. It's just looking like looking in a source book. You can put the text of Magic Missile up in your VTT and use it to calculate and apply damage to your target, and automating Magic Missile's damage to replace manually rolling and calculating is also fine. The VTT can apply Magic Missile's 1d4+1 damage automatically to your target's hit points. You do not have to manually calculate and track the damage. I mean, if you want to be an absolute asinine arsehole, you would ban that, but you want to try and sound like you actually care. What isn't permitted are features that don't replicate your dining room table storytelling. If you replace... So I'll get back to that once I finish the entire paragraph. If you replace your imagination with an animation and the magic missile streaking across the board to strike your target, or your VTT integrates your content into an NFT... No. That's not the tabletop experience. That's more like a video game. Okay, so... let's back up.
So, hold on. So they're basically saying you can't show an animation of somebody like firing a
magic missile, for example, or someone throwing a fireball out.
Have they not watched somebody play Diablo before?
Yeah, no, but Diablo's not a tabletop. What they're saying is that the tabletop experience does not have those things. Yeah, but so you're not allowed to use it on a virtual tabletop.
Yeah, right? But their new virtual one does, doesn't it? Right.
Oh yeah, it will do. I guarantee you it will do. Here's the thing. Wizards of the Coast, do you think your DMs are that enable of pulling shit up and doing stuff on the tabletop? Is that what you're saying? Like, I can go online and look at people who have made a Hydra with removable heads. So that they can go, this splits into two, and then change it. Is that not allowed now? Because
that should be perfectly fine because the Hydra is a mythological creature and you can't copyright that.
Yeah, no, but they're saying you can't do things like it has to be a pure tabletop experience. You can't do stuff like animations and all that on the tabletop. Yeah. And I'm like, there are dungeon masters and game masters that incorporate televisions into their tabletop set, in the actual tabletop. There were people who use smoke, visual effects, music, and a whole bunch of other and sound effects and everything to help with the immersion, because shockingly enough, Wizards, theatre of the mind doesn't work for everyone.
Yeah. Wow.
Shockingly enough, like, I don't know, that's more of like a video game. If you think a video game is what video tabletops can do right now, boy, are you going to be blown away if you see something like Elden Ring.
Yeah, don't watch Elden Ring. Jesus Christ.
I'd be worried for your health.
Don't look at any Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, I'd be worried about your health. So that's it's literally like how if I was a dungeon master, I would try and like pull out all the stops to make it as immersive as possible. Like have light displays for like fire, and if it's a dark night and there's a thing, I would have like a little light and turn the lights off so that people can just see. Because it makes sense. And they're saying, no, that's not the virtual table. That's not the tabletop experience. I'm sorry, but
yeah, I know. I know.
Anyway, so there's that issue.
You've got models now. You can buy models.
Yeah.
That's
a lot. Yeah, but the thing is, they're mostly third party. This is the thing.
Okay.
Right. So, just to digress a little bit, because we'll go back to the other parts of this. Just to digress a little bit. So, you know who owns Wizards of the Coast?
Hasbro.
You know what Hasbro do?
They make toys.
Yeah. Do you know what they don't do?
They don't make Dungeons and Dragons models.
No.
Well, of course not. Because they looked at Dungeons and Dragons and went, we own it, and it makes a little bit of money, but we'll just focus on.
And then they had the financial reports, and it was like, actually 70% of our profits come from Dungeons and Dragons. We need to wring everything out of that.
Yeah. Instead of going, see, what if we made toys?
What if, now just listen to me this, buddy. What if we made officially licensed Dungeons and Dragons models that were usable? Because there is now actual Dungeons and Dragons figures for the movie.
Oh, yeah, for the movie. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. What if we made actual figures?
What if we made actual boards and shit like that?
Yeah.
What if, now, this might be pushing the boat out, what if we did like a big collector's thing, right, which came with models for monsters, the different classes.
What here's another thing. What if we actually made dice?
What if we made dice? What if it all came with dice?
Right, here's the thing. For tabletop role players, right, and I understand because I've been buying dice.
Yeah.
Like, specialized dice, you will make a mint.
Oh yeah,
people will spend a lot of money on really nice dice.
About all of this with the OGL, right? I don't, because this goes back to our discussion about how people at the top are not in touch, right? But if you think about it logically, right, back in the day, when we were kids, at least when we were taught what you do with business,
yeah,
right, and this is what I would do as somebody who has literally not only been taught this but has grown up in this mentality, is you spot an opening and you fill that opening. The opening here is we make 70% of our profits come from D&D, yet we make no figures for that. We don't really make the dice for it. We don't make the boards.
We only make the books.
We mainly just make the books and sometimes some tokens. Why don't we actually go full on and see how much money those guys that made the Elden Ring board game, the Bloodborne board game, the Dark Souls board, do you see how much money that they made? Yeah. Why don't we do that for D&D? Why has no one got that acumen to just be like, well, I don't know, what if we started making the things that everybody wants for our game?
Why don't we start making like dungeon builders? 3D dungeon builders, and why don't we start making I don't know, NPC models that are actually usable on the maps we make?
Yeah.
And why don't we just make, like, I know why, because they have to then spend money to make those things.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that they would literally be printing money after they made them.
Oh yeah.
As long as they weren't completely shit.
Come on, it can't be that hard to make a little model.
I know, but it's the investment. They don't want to spend the money to make the money.
I mean,
they don't want to do the first fucking rule of business. To make money, you have to spend money.
You could buy a bunch of 3D printers. Like, you can afford it and just do that.
Well, this is the thing, right? The 3D, like the model a streamer I was watching, and she showed off I think one of her friends who makes 3D printing models for D&D for free. Basically, you can download the PDFs to print if you have your own 3D printer.
Yeah.
You can download the PDFs and print them yourself for free.
Nice.
And this person just constantly churns them out, right? And there's the stuff like Tiamat. There's so many dragons, owlbears, blah blah blah.
Well,
and this is the thing. This is the community. The community is that passionate enough. If Hasbro made official, licensed, usable Dungeons and Dragons models, they would be, once they had those models made, they would be making bank.
Yeah. So
much bank. But they don't. They don't because they don't want to spend the money up front.
Yeah. Because, as I've said, I'm more into Warhammer.
Yeah.
So there's a guy on YouTube. He's called Major Kill. Mm-hmm. And I watch his video. He does a lot of Warhammer lore videos.
Yeah.
But what he also does, he's got 3D printers, and he makes his own Warhammer models that you can buy, and that's how basically he makes his money is the models, because YouTube doesn't really pay a lot.
Because it's YouTube.
But yeah, like he makes a living. It's not amazing,
but he makes enough.
But he makes enough to put a roof over his head, and a decent house, and all of. And he also makes enough money to make more models.
Also, the community helps innovate. It makes But Hasbro don't want to print money, so.
Oh well, what can you do?
Anyway, back to the virtual tabletop policy. So, may I make my VTT Owlbear token look like the one from the Monster Manual? No. We've never licensed visual descriptions of our content under the OGL, just the text or the SRD. That hasn't changed. You can create a creature called an owlbear with its stat block from the SRD. You cannot copy any of our owlbear descriptions.
Right. Okay, so I know what they mean by that.
Yeah, but if you've drawn your own unique owlbear, or someone else did, you can use it.
Yeah.
So that's what everyone's going to start doing now.
Basically what I said before, they can't copyright the word barbarian or the class barbarian, but they can copyright the way it looks. So Dave the Barbarian. Yeah. No one can make Dave the Barbarian again because that's a Disney product.
Yeah. But the problem is also when someone says barbarian, they instantly think the stereotypical.
I just think Conan.
Yeah, the Conan image. The Conan image of a guy usually sometimes
in a loincloth with a giant sword.
With a massive weapon, ripped to hell.
Yeah.
And also usually with long hair.
Yeah. But you can still design it to look like that, but you just have to make little differences.
So, what about OGL 1.0a? Does this policy apply to that? Yes, you can upload your already licensed content to a VTT. I own or operate a VTT. How does this affect me? If you're a VTT owner or operator who supports OGL products on your platform, you have the same obligations for VTT content that any other website owner or operator has for copyright under the DMCA.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sure that won't be abused to fucking hell and high heaven. You say this is a conversation. Does that mean the policy can change? Yes, we need your feedback. Yeah, I've given my feedback. I filled in the form. I stated what the issues were. The potential of VTTs are tremendous and exciting, and we don't want to harm their development.
Well, no. You don't want to harm it. You want to stunt it.
Yeah, you want. This policy literally sounds like they are deliberately handicapping the competition for when theirs come out.
Yeah.
And the point I made, because the point I've made in the survey is their VTT will have access to their entire Dungeons and Dragons library. That's your unique selling point. There's no modules you need to download, no versions to update, or etc. It's like, no, your virtual tabletop will have access to all the monsters, all the characters, all the weapons, spells, etc., etc. There's no need to link them in or anything, or program them in. It has that in there already. That is your unique selling point. That is your USP, and it should be a very good one.
I mean, it's not now.
I mean, it's not now because of the policy.
You decided to stab yourself in the heart. Like you didn't do an Activision and shoot yourself in the leg. No. You took a sword and just stabbed yourself in the heart. And now you just sort of
consumer trust in your company is at an all-time low. But yeah, it like I've literally said like the virtual tabletop policy, they need to go back to scratch and start over again, because it is like I said regarding like replicate your dining room table storytelling.
Yeah.
What is that exactly? What is considered a dining room telling?
This is the same the point of like we're monetizing our community. What does that actually mean?
Yeah. Like
that doesn't actually mean anything. All you're saying there is you're not getting enough money.
The community is. I've not seen such a passionate community who want to go above and beyond to make the tabletop experience so immersive. They will go through and do so many things that under this virtual tabletop policy would be deemed as not allowed.
Yeah.
And they're saying they want the virtual tabletop to be like the actual tabletop, but they're actually banning stuff that can be done with effort on the tabletop.
To be honest with you, this one's going to go the same way.
Like Magic Missile. Magic Missile. If I had a laser pointer, whoop.
Yeah, I think this is going to go the same way the other OGLs are going. By the sounds of things, at least of what I've read and what I've heard by certain content creators, if it doesn't go back to 1.0, which
So I've in the survey I have literally said they need to go back to 1.0A.
Yeah.
They need to go back to 1.0A and regain the trust of the community.
I think what they need to do really is just go back to 1.1A, like the basic, and then add in stuff for the virtual tabletop.
i.e. NFTs are banned.
And the
NFT and blockchain is banned.
Like maybe like you can't let's say you've got an animation of somebody chopping somebody's head off. You can't show that. That's fine.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Like gratuitous violence, you can't show gratuitous violence,
which is fine.
That's okay. We
won't show the gratuitous violence. The DM will just explain it in gratuitous detail.
Yeah, but there's a difference between explaining it and actually seeing it.
Yes, I know that, and that's perfectly fine.
That sort of stuff. That's the stuff that I think maybe they should go for. Also, like, what else? Can't really think of anything else for the virtual. Maybe, gratuitous violence, anything that's like overly sexualized. I could argue that you could put that in there. Like,
I know, but here's the thing, right? That already gets like a lot of DMs who, if a scene ends up going there, they will usually just fade to black. Sort of. We all know. Look, it's 1980s. Pan to the window.
Yeah, we know what's happening.
We know what's happening. We're all grown adults here, apart from if you're
apart from everybody
kids.
Around the table.
Apart from if you're playing with kids, and if you are, that's never happening anyway.
Yeah.
And it's the virtual tabletop policy. Personally, I think
the thing is that this here for them to be like, oh well, we're not monetizing our community now. A lot of it doesn't really seem like it's really gonna get more money off people.
No, it's not.
Really?
No, it's not.
If you think about it logically...
It's had the actual opposite effect. And they should have learned, they should have known this was what's going to happen, because 4th edition had a closed game license.
Yeah.
You weren't allowed to do so many things. Like but they gave us the choice. They gave the community the choice of 1.0A or this new one, and everyone went, "Yeah, we'll just go to 1.0A."
Which is why they're not giving you the choice this time.
Yeah, but the problem is that, and I think we said it last year, there are companies that are not happy with this, that have the financial resources to fight them on this.
Yeah.
And Hasbro doesn't. And I do feel like they have had shareholders have come out after the last lot, and the fact that they are hemorrhaging money through basically people cancelling subscriptions, and the shareholders have gone, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
And I think that the next time we're going to hear anything is the 17th of February, which will be the response to the survey.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people have literally said, "Oh, you think I'm going to be quiet on this?"
Yeah.
And fill in the survey. Well, I'll fill in the survey, but I'll also show everyone what I filled the survey in with, and what I've put. I haven't, just because of reasons, because there's plenty of other people that have put out
That have done it.
that have done it and put out in a much better and eloquently worded way than I could ever do. But I do agree with their points.
Yes.
So anyone that I see, I just retweet and like.
I think.
But the thing is that it's obvious they are going to push through with this 1.2. They're going to push through with this new OGL.
Yeah.
Regardless of what number they give it, they want this new OGL. And they don't want the 1.0A to stay. It's obvious. So I'm fully aware and know this is probably going to happen, but it's a case of it's a negotiation point, and also there's a demand. There is literally a boycott the movie movement going because they're literally saying, look, they're only talking to us because we're costing them money. If the Dungeons and Dragons movie fails, if it's a bomb, firstly, the shareholders aren't going to be really happy about that. And two, well, who's doing it? It's Paramount, isn't it? Yeah,
I think it's Paramount.
Paramount, they'll be pissed.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, if it wasn't for
the movie the movie looks good.
Yeah, if it wasn't for this shit show, I would probably go and watch it. And also, Wizards of the Coast, if you reintroduce 1.08 and do not deauthorize it and make it irrevocable, I will actually right now openly guarantee you I will go and see that movie
Twice.
I don't know about twice, but I will try and get as many people to go watch it as possible.
I'd go twice.
Yeah.
I'd go twice. If they did it, there you
Well,
go.
But what I'm saying is, I may go. Well, for example, I'll go with you.
Yeah.
And if any of our if any of our friends hadn't seen it, we'll go with them.
Yeah.
See, exactly. We will try and get other people to go and watch it. Like, if you go back to 1.8, there will be a net gain from us. Okay? Because at the moment, you're getting nothing. Zero, zilch, nada, nip, nada. And I know Hasbro / Wizards of the Coast, their current policies, they're trying to tire us out. They're trying to wear us out, make us get bored of it, and try and fight amongst each other. And some of it's happening already. I'm kind of annoyed at it because it's like, no, this is what they want. They want us to forget. They think this is going to be a AAA game. They literally think this is going to be a AAA game outcry thing.
Yeah.
Right? They think we're going to, and yeah, maybe some parts of the community, but the parts that you really need on your side, I've not heard any sort of like, no, we're not gonna stop talking about this.
Yeah.
Some have basically said, yeah, we know they're going to push this through, but we want to make it as open as possible. And even then, if it is not acceptable, we will just go elsewhere. If the ball's in Wizards Court now, the community, you've given us a survey, we filled it in. The vast majority very unhappy, even with this 1.2. And so it is literally like, if you actually care about our opinions and our input, you need to go back and really look at certain things. For example, 6.f is right now really not acceptable. Because, again, like I say, the trust of Wizards of the Coast, there is none. We do not trust that company with being being not disingenuous.
Yeah.
Because their actions have been disingenuous. They have only come to us with this survey because of
the outcry.
Because of the outcry. Well, not even the outcry. Because they were losing money. They lost 40,000 plus subscribers to D&D Beyond. And also, another point of note, the fact that the original responses were literally thrown through the community side and not actually through Wizards of the Coast or Hasbro, that is not acceptable. The community, like the people in charge of the community, the Twitter pages and all that, they do not deserve to deal with the shit that the company has caused.
No,
I know it's part and parcel of the job, but
No. What I mean is I wasn't going to say that's part and parcel of the job, but that's what they do.
Yeah.
That's what the heads do. That's why there's a community thing.
Yes, I know. I know. But the thing. My point is that those people have not had anything to do.
Oh yeah, I know.
With any of the decisions, and they're having to deal with the frigging
backlash.
The backlash of it, and it's a lot of stress that they do not deserve.
It's very true. I think we'll go there.
Yeah,
that's a good end point. Yeah. D&D is just it's just getting worse.
I'll just put this one point out. Dungeons and Dragons is more than Wizards of the Coast, and also tabletop role playing game is what's making the money, not Dungeons and Dragons. It is just the system the most use. And until Hasbro gets that through their Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast senior management get it through their thick skulls of that, they will not be good shepherds of their IP.
Aye. And on that note, I think we'll end it.
Yes.
That's a good end. I do hope you've enjoyed this chat. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye now.
Toodles.